located on the left side of the workspace. As you learned in the last lesson, every tool in the toolbox allows you to edit, paint, view, or alter images or documents open in the workspace. Each tool in the toolbox is represented by an icon. Beside each icon is a downward arrow. By right-clicking a downward arrow, you can see variations of the tool that basically have the same purpose but perform slightly different functions. For example, this is the rectangular marquee tool. An elliptical marquee tool is grouped with it and is accessible by right-clicking the downward arrow. Even though they are both marquee tools, one produces a rectangular marquee and the other an elliptical. These tools are grouped together in the toolbox. Learning all the tools in the toolbox can seem like an overwhelming task because there are so many. For that reason, Photoshop broke up the tools into different sections to make it easier to get a basic idea of which tools perform what functions, as well as to make them easier to find. In the first section at the top, you'll see all of the selection tools. These are tools that you'll be able to use to select areas of an image. Below the selection tools, you'll have all of the paint tools. The paint tools allow you to paint, change the colors in an area of an image, or even erase colors altogether. Next are the path, shape, and text tools. You will use these to add shapes, text, and determine paths. Lastly, the bottom selection of the toolbox contains the different view tools that allow you to view your image as well as the background and foreground color tool. We'll be using these tools throughout the remainder of the course. For the time being, it's just important that you become familiar with the toolbox and the different sections it contains. The Options bar is located in the upper left-hand corner of the workspace, below the menu bar and above the toolbox. It contains preferences and settings for the different tools. For example, if we select the Text tool, the option bar would contain options and preferences available for the Text tool, or whatever tool is selected. Throughout this course, we'll be working with the Options bar frequently whenever we use tools from the toolbox. Make sure that you can locate it. As we discussed in the last lesson, you can edit or modify your work by using any of the several panels that Photoshop provides. All panels can be found by clicking Window in the menu bar. To make a panel appear in the workspace, simply click to place a check mark next to it. Whenever you select a panel to appear, it will be docked to the right side of your workspace where it is grouped with other panels. However, there may be times when it would be more efficient and convenient to have that panel closer to your image. For that reason, you can undock panels and place them elsewhere on the Photoshop screen. So let me show you what we mean. Let's say that we want to undock the color panel and move it onto our workspace. To do this, we're going to click our mouse on the Color tab, and then drag and drop it to the area on the workspace where we want to place it. So place it where you want and then release the mouse button and it will be moved there. When you want to dock the color panel again, you simply drag it back to the dock panels until the color tab is over the active panel and then release the mouse button. Context menus are different than the menus located in the menu bar. Context menus show commands that are relevant to the tool, panel, or selection that you're currently working with. To view a context menu, right-click on the image whenever you're using the tool, selection, or panel to apply changes or modifications to an image. For example, if we're using the eyedropper tool right here, go over to our image and right-click, and then the context menu appears and gives you all the different options for using that tool with your image. Photoshop CS6 gives you several options that allow you to customize the workspace. We've already learned how to close and collapse panels, as well as how to create floating or undocked panels. In addition, you can change the document view. Go to View, Screen Mode, and then you can select the option that you want. Standard Screen Mode shows the panels, the toolbox, the menu bar, and everything you see in the default view in Photoshop. You can also still access other programs and documents on your computer or your computer's start menu. Full screen mode with menu bar simply means that Photoshop takes over your entire screen as shown here. If you select full screen mode, Photoshop will display this message. It's letting you know that panels will be hidden. To access them, you can press Tab. And once you're in there, if you want to return back to standard screen mode, press F or Escape, and that will bring you back. For the purpose of this course, we're going to use standard screen mode. You can also change screen modes by going to the bottom of the toolbox and clicking the Change Screen Mode tool. Right-click on the tool to select Standard Screen Mode, Full Screen Mode with Menu Bar, or Full Screen Mode. The preferences that you choose will determine a variety of settings within the program and will also affect the way Photoshop operates. That said, the best way to show you the preferences that you can set is to go ahead and show you how to set them. To edit or set general preferences, go to Edit, Preferences, General. The dialog box will appear. The color picker allows you to choose between Adobe's color picker or the one supplied by your operating system. Now let's look at image interpolation. Whenever you transform a selection, the Photoshop program has to add or subtract pixels so that the new size conforms to the resolution. Bicubic Interpolation looks at the pixel color values surrounding the selection to determine what color to make the new pixels. This produces the highest quality for photographic images. Bilinear interpolation only uses adjacent pixels. It's faster than bicubic, but not as high quality. Nearest neighbor is faster than either of the other two, but shouldn't be used for photographic images. However, it's the most effective for images that have large areas that are the same color. We'll cover the essential preferences later in this course. When you're finished setting your general